If you're able to rise, please stand for the procession of the Distinguished Award recipients, led by President Wendy Winterstein.
Please be seated. Good afternoon and welcome to the 2018 Distinguished Awards celebration. We are very pleased today to recognize the recipients of the highest awards that Iowa State University presents to our alumni and friends. Since this is my first Distinguished Awards celebration as president of Iowa State University, I want to take a moment to say how honored and privileged I am to be here. I truly believe that Iowa State's #1 asset is its people, our students, faculty, staff, alumni, and friends. We are an excellent university because we all care very deeply about Iowa State's mission to educate, innovate, and engage, and we care very deeply about each other. We are so pleased to have this opportunity today to thank and acknowledge some of the most dedicated and loyal members of the Iowa State family. Before we recognize the awardees, I'd like to thank our student musicians, Kelly Olson, Jacob Fedderson, Madison Helton, and Benjamin Grumman. A round of applause. We really appreciate their wonderful performance, but we know that they have class activities to go to and other activities as well. I'd also like to recognize several special guests with us today. Current and past members of the ISU Foundation and ISU Alumni Association Board of Directors and the governors of the ISU Foundation. Would you please stand and be recognized? Thank you. These are volunteer leaders of Iowa State who devote a tremendous amount of their time and resources to ensure the excellence of this university. We want you to know how much we appreciate your service and support, so thank you again. I'd also like to recognize the great leadership of these organizations. Larissa Holtmeyer-Jones, President and Chief Executive Officer of the Iowa State University Foundation. Larissa, would you please stand? A round of applause. And Jeff Johnson, the Laura and Russ Talbot Endowed President and Chief Executive Officer of the Iowa State University Alumni Association. Jeff. Thank you both for your leadership. This ceremony is a wonderful celebration of the incredible impact Iowa State's alumni, leaders, faculty, and friends have on our state, nation, and the world. We are recognizing two groups of award honorees this afternoon. First, the Order of the Knoll Awards are presented by Iowa State through the Iowa State University Foundation and include the Corporation and Foundation Award, the Faculty and Staff Award, the Cardinal and Gold Award, and the Campanile Award. The second group of awards are presented by Iowa State through the Iowa State University Alumni Association, and they are the Honorary Alumni Awards and the Distinguished Alumni Awards. We will begin by recognizing the Order of the Knoll Award recipients. The first award is the Order of the Knoll Corporation and Foundation Award. This award recognizes an entity that has provided outstanding generosity to Iowa State University through significant leadership, giving, dedicated and long-term service, and assistance to students and faculty through recruitment opportunities and research programs. This award is presented to Rockwell Collins. Representing the company is Clay Lindwall, Vice President of Engineering for Rockwell Collins Government Systems. Clay, please come forward. Rockwell Collins is a leader in aviation and high-integrity solutions for commercial and military consumers around the world. Iowa State University and Rockwell Collins enjoy a mutually beneficial partnership dating back nearly 30 years, involving philanthropy, academic and research programs, advisory committees, student scholarships, recruitment, capital investments, including Marston Hall and Coover Hall, home to the Rockwell Collins Electrical and Computer Engineering Lab, and the new Student Innovation Center. With a strong emphasis on diversity and inclusion, Rockwell Collins also engages and supports a number of Iowa State student organizations that cultivate success among our underrepresented students. A nominator wrote, "The Rockwell Collins team has been tireless in mentoring our students. They have always stood beside us in trying to provide a strong educational base for our graduates. Indeed, more than 1,200 of Rockwell Collins employees are Iowa State graduates. Congratulations, Rockwell Collins, on our 2018 Order of the Knoll Corporation and Foundation Award. Congratulations. A round of applause.
Thank you, Doctor. On behalf of Kelly Ortberg, our CEO and President, Phil Jasper, our Executive Vice President and Chief Operating Officer, and all of our executives, as well as the 30,000 employees of Rockwell Collins, we are honored to receive the 2018 Order of the Knoll Corporation and Foundation Award. It's especially humbling to be recognized knowing that some of the recent winners of this prestigious award include Danfoss Power Solutions, Union Pacific Corporation, and the Boeing Company. This award is further recognition that through our long-term relationship together, we are positively impacting the students' lives and helping to deliver upon the Iowa State University's mission to create, share, and apply knowledge to make Iowa and the world a better place. Rockwell Collins employees volunteer many hours each year on campus, giving back to the institution which gave them the foundation to start their successful careers. They use their skills obtained through real-world work, experience at our company to in turn mentor and educate to further improve each ISU student's university experience, including enhancing curriculum through the advisory board participation. As some of you may know, Phil Jasper, my leader, is also our executive lead for Iowa State. Being a past graduate of ISU has a strong affinity for the school, and he's also a diehard Cyclones fan, which I can attest to every day. So he wanted me to express his disappointment in not being able to be here today. When Phil approached me to speak, I was excited about the opportunity today to accept this award and personally say thank you. The engineering area I oversee at Rockwell Collins is perhaps the biggest beneficiary of our relationship with ISU. and our company's hiring over 100 ISU interns and cooperative education students and new graduate positions each year, resulting in over 1,200 ISU alumni now working for Rockwell Collins. I consider ISU engineering graduates some of the nation's most talented, as I get to see firsthand the important contributions that they are making every day. They are making a difference in our world by keeping warfighters secure and informed, helping pilots safely and reliably navigate the airspace, and helping airline and business jet passengers stay connected throughout their journey. Because tomorrow's problems demand bright, hardworking individuals to solve them, we encourage our employees to never stop innovating and never stop thinking big. Through our partnership with ISU, your alumni continue to help us do just that. Thank you once again for this prestigious recognition.
Thank you, Clay. Our next award is the Order of the Knoll Faculty and Staff Award. This award recognizes current or retired faculty or staff members for their substantial commitment to promoting and expanding philanthropy at Iowa State through both personal philanthropy and significant professional and volunteer service. We have 3 honorees to recognize. The first award is given posthumously to Dr. Lowell Greiman. Dr. Greiman was former chair of the Department of Civil, Construction, and Environmental Engineering. He also earned his Bachelor's of Science in Civil Engineering from Iowa State in 1964. Accepting the award is Lowell's wife, Jenny. Jenny, would you please come forward? For nearly 50 years, Lowell served Iowa State University, first as an assistant professor, then full professor, and ultimately as chair of his department, a role that he held for 15 years until his retirement in 2005. Lowell was lauded for his efforts in development, building strong relationships with departmental alumni, and raising funds as part of the successful Our Town campaign. After the death of his wife, Jane, in 2006, Lowell and his family established and later endowed the Jane Greiman Legacy of Heroines Scholarship through the Carrie Chapman Katz Center for Women and Politics. Lowell passed away in November following a courageous battle with cancer, but his legacy endures here at Iowa State University. A former student wrote a letter to Jeannie after learning of Lowell's passing. Alex Bachler wrote about the extra time and attention Lowell provided to help him pass a challenging class, and how Lowell even visited him in the hospital when he was sick. Alex's quote is, "I regret that I delayed in reaching out to him to express my appreciation. I am grateful and will never forget him or what he did for me." We are so pleased to honor Lowell's compassion, accomplishments, and his memory with the Order of the Knoll Faculty and Staff Award.
Thank you, Dr. Winterstein, and thanks to all of you very much. On the whole, I'd rather that Lowell be not in Philadelphia, but here at this podium today. From the moment Lowell received word that he would be getting this award, he began to work on completing the awardee information form. At that time, his leukemia was sapping what little energy he had left, but he kept plugging away through 1, 2, 3 drafts until he felt that he had it about right. Then came his final hospital stay, his monumental effort to be the guest of honor at his 75th birthday party, and then his admission into home hospice immediately following that party. Lowell died early Thanksgiving Day last November, and that information form was quickly forgotten. But after the holidays, I gathered up all of his drafts and started to enter what Lowell had written, and I finally submitted the form electronically. Now, Lowell has a list of academic accomplishments and publications as long as your arm, but I think what he would say to you today is how much he cherished learning, thanks largely to Jim Melsa, learning how to build relationships with potential donors, with faculty and staff, and especially with his students. Zen Yu and Samara, you have no idea how much Lowell loved you, even when he groused at you, and how proud he would be when you earn your degrees from Iowa State. We were so delighted to host you and Sonda at what would turn out to be his last Thanksgiving dinner. And Alex, how you became the teacher and Lowell the pupil to help you get through that structures class, and how he visited you when you were laid up at the hospital. And how could I forget to recognize Zoe Shipley, the current Jane Greiman Scholarship recipient, and the other legacy of heroine scholars, Maggie Luttrell Roby, Chandra Peterson, Sawyer Baker, Kate Tyndall, and Jessica Taylor. You're going to hear from all of these women in the years to come. Finally, in answer to the question on that information form, what does philanthropy mean to you? Lowell wrote, simply put, sharing my time, talent, and treasure to help others has been humbling and enjoyable. Well done, good and faithful servant Lowell. Well done. Thank you.
Thank you, Jenny. The other recipients of the Order of the Knoll Faculty and Staff Award are Dick and Sandy Horton. The Hortons are both proud Iowa State alums. Sandy received her bachelor's in child development in 1962, and Dick earned 3 degrees from Iowa State in electrical engineering, a bachelor's in 1962, a master's in 1963, and his PhD in 1967. He is also an emeritus professor of electrical engineering. Dick and Sandy, would you please join me here at the podium? And a round of applause for them. For more than 50 years, Dick and Sandy's generosity, engagement, and support has touched nearly every corner of the Iowa State campus, from academics and Cyclone athletics to the Alumni Association and the Greek system. Sandy has served on the Delta Zeta National Council and is a chapter advisor. Dick was a faculty advisor and House Corporation president of Theta Delta Chi and was instrumental in the chapter house historical renovation. Dick also served as faculty marshal for 98 commencements and 3 presidential installations. Plus, he hasn't missed a home football game since his freshman year of college in 1958. That's dedication. A nominator wrote, Dick and Sandy never just lived in their community, they were and continue to be involved in their community. Their loyalty is certainly worthy of honor and respect. Dick and Sandy have been recognized with many well-deserved awards for their devotion to Iowa State University, and we're so pleased to honor them with the Order of the Knoll Faculty and Staff Award. Congratulations, Dick and Sandy.
Our thanks to President Winterstein and the Foundation for the Faculty and Staff Award. It's humbling, but very much appreciated. We can't help but think back to the fall of 1958, when Dick and I arrived on campus to start our Iowa State adventure. Little did we know all of the doors, both personally and professionally, that Iowa State would open for us. I look at my years working with Delta Zeta in a variety of advising capacities, but always working with sorority recruitment, or as many of you will remember it as sorority rush. It was in the 80s, when personal computers were becoming a way of life, that the Greek Life Office at Iowa State asked us if we could develop a rush scheduling program. Since Dick knew the computer side, and I knew the sorority scheduling side and needs. That led to the development of Computer Rush, and are working with over 250 colleges and universities across the country. Also, I think back to our first year of marriage when Dick was in graduate school, and I was the secretary in the Home Economics Placement Office. During that time, I spent a month of my life working with Iowa State dietetic students that were getting their materials ready for the dietetic internship match. Little did I know that 30 years later, I would realize just how important that month was, when we became the National Matching Center for the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics, and I would work annually with some 6,000 dietetic students across the country applying for internships. However, I know that I speak for both of us when I say the best part is the opportunity that we have had with students to advise them, to mentor, and then stay in contact with them both professionally and personally after graduation, to cheer their successes, and then be able to nominate them for Iowa State awards. Dick?
Well, we are all here together thanks to the generosity of many who have helped Iowa State be what it is today. And this is why it is important to us to continue to give back. I was a senior in Marshalltown High School and had been accepted to Iowa State in engineering. One day I was called to the principal's office, and that changed my mind. But he told me that I was going to receive from Ray Engel, chief engineer at Fisher Controls, a 4-year scholarship to Iowa State College of my choice. This loyal alum is no stranger to Iowa State because he had given many generous gifts. His scholarship changed my life, and I was glad to be able to personally thank him many times. He appreciated also that I had joined the faculty at Iowa State Engineering. When graduation was approaching, I decided to accept the offer for a TA at Michigan State. But before dinner, a telegram was delivered to me from the Iowa State Foundation with an offer for a graduate scholarship. Timing was everything. I stayed. When I was about to receive my PhD, I had a casual conversation with Department Head Warren Boast in the hallway of the Electrical Engineering building. He asked me if I would like to stay and be on the faculty. I obviously said yes. I'd like to stay. Thank you very much. We shook hands, and that was the beginning and the end of the interview. Those were the days. I probably signed some papers, but I had no idea what I might be paid until the first paycheck showed up. It was a great ride, many exciting times. Began with the first transistor, followed by personal computers, and then on to the internet. Those were good years. During a casual conversation with then athletic director Max Urich, I asked, when is Iowa State going to get an interesting new football scoreboard? He said, well, we're thinking about it. I didn't realize that that would lead to him asking me to help them review their options. And later he asked me if I would like to run the scoreboard. I said, I thought you'd never ask. And that led basically to a 40-year career being up there in the press box with the football scoreboard, watching lots and lots of interesting games, some not so good, a lot of them really good. On behalf of us in Iowa State, I think Iowa State's a family, truly a family. And we can walk around and say, "Hi, Wendy, isn't that good? Isn't that good?" We sincerely thank the foundation for this honor. It blows me away, but go Cyclones.
Thank you, Dick and Sandy. Our next award is the Order of the Knoll Cardinal and Gold Award. This award is presented to an individual or couple for providing dedicated and long-term service and creative leadership to the ISU Foundation and Iowa State University. This award recognizes those whose involvement with the university and the foundation has been lasting and has made a substantial impact in promoting and expanding philanthropy that supports Iowa State. This award is presented to Marla Franklin. Marla is a 1968 graduate of Iowa State in economics, and she is a retired vice president of human resources for Nationwide, formerly Allied Insurance. Marla, would you please come forward? Marla's support for Iowa State is motivated by her belief that one should care deeply about something larger than oneself and take action. And boy, has Marla taken action. As an Iowa State University Foundation governor and past chair of the Finance Committee, Marla was vital to the foundation's response to the financial crisis of 2008. She worked tirelessly to help protect the endowment and reduce the foundation's operating expenses without laying off staff or slowing the momentum of Campaign Iowa State. Marla has also generously supported faculty development in the College of Liberal Arts and Sciences and the Ivy College of Business, as well as Cyclone Athletics. A nominator wrote, "When Marla serves, she does so with 110% effort for the team." Marla, congratulations and thank you.
Thank you, President Winterstein. You know, I do love Iowa State. I started loving it as a little farm girl who came up here with my father and a sow that wouldn't get better. And I was in awe. I loved it as a teenager coming up here for 4-H state conferences. And I was so impressed with this university. And I even stayed in the brand new Linden Hall. But I really began loving it more deeply at my freshman year and the next 4 years as I learned more and more about this wonderful, wonderful place. Now, I must admit that I wasn't the greatest student at the university. I enjoyed my classes and I learned a lot, but what really helped to shape me were those wonderful student experiences outside the classroom. I was an active Alpha Gam, committees for Visha and Homecoming, varieties. No one could ever guess I enjoyed varieties, right? And GSB. My most interesting memory, I think, was a friend and I decided we wanted to start what I think was the first student evaluation of professors. And, yeah. And she was a stat major, so it was okay. And that wasn't really popular with academia across the country. And therefore, we weren't real popular here either. But it taught me to, with a lot of hard work and perseverance, you can prevail. We were finally allowed to go forward with our project. We were dedicated to making it so statistically sound that it would have to be accepted. And President Parks accepted our results. Not sure what he did with them, Wendy, but nonetheless, I do remember that the one question that had the greatest correlation to the rankings was the effective use of visuals by a professor. That time it was a blackboard, but nonetheless, That was the number one question. We really loved it. Being a part of the community has always been important to my family, so when I had the opportunity to become more involved with Iowa State by volunteering with the foundation, I truly, truly enjoyed it. It's just a joy to see what individuals' dedication to the university, plus their passion, plus their dollars, can really do to make change happen. In my case, I was able to work with a tremendous number of people, ISU Foundation employees, university staff, and many dedicated donors and volunteers. I want to thank each and every one of you for helping to make my life more meaningful. I'm looking at you, woman. And I'd also like to thank you for honoring me with this award. Thanks again.
Thank you, Marla. I'm going to look for those results for the survey in the Knoll basement. I'm pretty. Listen, you never. Our next award is the Order of the Knoll Campanile Award. This award recognizes the extraordinary long-time support of an individual and couple who had a significant, inspiring impact on Iowa State University. The award honors those whose loyal philanthropic support has transformed the university. This award is presented to Ed McCracken and Anna Hayes McCracken. Ed is retired CEO of Silicon Graphics and a 1966 Iowa State graduate in electrical engineering. Anna is executive director of Thistlewood Foundation and a 1984 graduate of Iowa State in fashion merchandising. Ed and Anna, would you please come forward? Congratulations, Anna. Part of what makes Ed and Anna's philanthropic support of Iowa State University so special is that they have made it a priority to develop personal relationships with the students who benefit. Ed and Anna have given generously to establish scholarships in engineering and apparel merchandising and design. In addition, they were early supporters of the Virtual Reality Applications Center. We are also grateful for their service as foundation governors. Two of Ed and Anna's scholarship recipients, Sarah Wagan and Casey Nelson, had this to say: the McCrackens exemplify leadership, dedication, and generosity. Not only have they given us tools to succeed, but they have given us lifelong friendship through their willingness to get to know and care for us. That is truly special. Thank you again, Ed and Anna, and congratulations.
Thank you, President Winterstein and the Iowa State leadership family. Many of you know that Anna and I recently moved back to Ames from Silicon Valley in California. And since we've been here, we've heard the phrase Iowa values a lot. And it's caused us to think about what are the Iowa values. And it seems to me, thinking back, that whether I was in a one-room schoolhouse, Blackhawk number 1 in Jefferson County with my two brothers and sister, or at Fairfield High School in Southeast Iowa, or at Iowa State, my family, the community, and even the state of Iowa were committed to a world-class, low-cost public education for the youth of Iowa, including myself. And as a farm kid, that was really important to me. It's been a pleasure for us to be able to continue with that value in our support of Iowa State, whether it be student scholarships or helping make Iowa State engineering a state-of-the-art place. It's been really important to us. We've really enjoyed the relationship with students and faculty at Iowa State, and thanks again.
Thank you, Ed. Thank you, President Winterstein. Back when I graduated in fashion merchandising, Marla, I'm so glad to know I wasn't the only one who wasn't a good student. And I'm here as a graduate student now, and I've been getting email solicitations for honor societies, so I'm all excited. So, but one of the things I took with me was a passion for giving back, and I gleaned that from the volunteering I did here with campus committees here on campus. After graduating and working for Hartshafter and Marks in Chicago, giving money felt like an impossibility on my meager retail salary. So I gave of my time. One of my first volunteer gigs was serving as a president of Iowa State Club of Chicago. Together with my fellow board members, we fundraised to award an annual scholarship, and I've often wondered what have happened to those kids. They were memorable experiences. What I remember most about the process of presenting those awards was how joyful it all made me feel. Fast forward to Ed and I reconnecting at one of President Joffrey's campaign Iowa State events in California. Getting together, we soon discovered our mutual love for Iowa State. When asked to fund our first engineering scholarship, we did so joyfully, in gratitude for the education we received here, and because we wanted an Iowa State student who might not otherwise be able to come here to benefit from our successes. Now approaching 6 years of funding scholarships, I've learned something about giving back to this institution. Giving is contagious, in part because our lives, I think when you told me I'd get upset up here, or emotional, giving in part because our lives are enriched by our scholarship students. We learn from them, we enjoy celebrating their successes. We're going to a wedding for Sarah soon. We hope to stay in touch with them as long after they graduate for the rest of our lives. We never gave intending to stand here today. We are honored and humbled to be recognized with this Campanile Award. Thank you, Dean Jolly and Dean Rayala, for nominating us, to those who wrote letters, and for those who chose us. The Campanile Award means the world to us. And thank you, Iowa State, for the foundation you built for us and for others who graduate from this institution. And lastly, to our family and friends who traveled to be with us here today, and my nephew, who's not in the room, but I hope he's out touring campus, that he will become a future Cyclone. Thank you. Go Cyclones.
Thank you, Ed and Anna. Well, let's have another round of applause for all of the Order of the Knoll Award recipients. So next are the awards presented by Iowa State through the Iowa State University Alumni Association. First is the Honorary Alumni Award. This is the highest honor given by Iowa State to individuals who are not graduates of the university, but who have made significant contributions to the university's welfare, reputation, prestige, and pursuit of excellence, and who should be recognized as members of our alumni family. We have 2 recipients to recognize. Our first recipient is Debbie Bergstrom. Debbie is a graduate of the American Institute of Business and is a generous volunteer and philanthropist. Debbie, would you join me? A round of applause for Debbie. Congratulations. Debbie's love for Iowa State runs deep. She and her husband, Steve, who graduated from Iowa State in 1979, are among the university's most loyal and prolific supporters. The Bergstroms are major contributors to Cyclone athletics, providing the lead gifts for the Bergstrom football complex and the Steve and Debbie Bergstrom indoor training facility. They've also given generously to the Jacobson Athletic Building, the Sukup Basketball Complex, the Jardine Business Building, the Business College Founders Club, the Benjamin and Patricia Allen Scholarship Fund, the Business Dean's Advisory Council Fund, and Student Athlete Scholarships. A nominator wrote, "To say Debbie Bergstrom bleeds cardinal and gold is a giant understatement." In fact, if you didn't know it, you would think Debbie is an alumna. Well, Debbie, we are so pleased to make you an honorary alumna today. Congratulations. Another round of applause for Debbie. Congratulations.
I want to thank you for being chosen for the Honorary Alumni Award. It was an honor to be chosen. I have always wanted to go to Iowa State, but was not able to when I was 18. I was dating my husband while he was attending here and tried to be a part of the college experience. I was like a person looking through the fence but couldn't go in. I typed many a term paper for Steve, attended games when I could get a ticket, went to Iowa State functions, but never actually attended a class here. Several years after Steve graduated, Gene Smith enticed us back to Iowa State. The closest we have to Iowa State has been the happiest of times. Our son Jeff once asked his dad why he couldn't have cheered for Kentucky, Texas, or somebody that actually won often. Steve said that their wins aren't as meaningful as ours. The two of them can tell you play by play by play of the majority of the games Iowa State has won. It wasn't until Jeff attended Iowa State himself did he get it. We wanted our kids to have the Iowa State experience. We brought Becky up here one October and it snowed a foot. She told her dad she couldn't go here because she was a Southern girl and she didn't like wearing coats. She graduated from Texas A&M, but I know for a fact she has more ISU apparel in her closet than A&M. She has also attended more games here. Our son Jeff was a walk-on the basketball team. He says those times were so memorable. He has made lifelong friends. He now knows why Iowa State is so special. He goes to as many games as he can. He won't miss a Big 12 basketball tournament. And he also attended his first alumni basketball reunion. We all have Iowa State, Texas license plates. The other day I wanted to stop the guy in front of me to see where he was from as he had one on his car. We wear our Iowa State colors with pride. Steve and I have met people all over the place because of it. In New Zealand, we met a golf pro who graduated from Iowa State from Spencer, Iowa. I have 2 rooms in my house decked out in Iowa State colors and memorabilia. The painter that painted the rooms called Sherwin-Williams in Ames to make sure the color was right. In one of the bedrooms, we have the basketball court painted on the ceiling. I was actually given this award last year. My mom had a stroke while visiting me in Texas the day that we were getting ready to come. I wanted her to hear my speech. I invited my kids, friends, family, and I was so excited, but I couldn't leave her in a hospital in Texas, so we postponed my acceptance until today. I have only given one other speech in 40 years, and so I'm rather nervous. I have Becky, Jeff, and my husband Steve with me today, and I had a surprise. My nephew snuck in right before it started. But I will tell my mom all about it because she is one of my greatest cheerleaders. Iowa State isn't just a university to me, it's a family. Thanks for seeing my passion for this university, not only for the games we watch, the colors, and things I decorate our home with, the meetings we attend, the dinners we go to, it's the people that draws me to Iowa State. My dad passed away, and Jamie Pollard and his wife attended his memorial service. Iowa State also sent flowers for the service. I told Frank Nogel a couple of years ago that there were 11 people standing around my sister-in-law's island in her kitchen. All of them were wearing Iowa State apparel. Out of all those people, not one graduated from Iowa State. Now I can say I belong. Thanks again.
Thank you, Debbie. Our next recipient of the Honorary Alumni Award is Dr. John Hsu. While John didn't graduate from Iowa State, he remains a distinguished member of our faculty, holding emeritus status. He also served as department chair, director of the School of Education, and director of the Emerging Leaders Academy. John, would you please come forward? A round of applause for John. Congratulations. John's professional impact is exceptional. He's the author, co-author, or editor of more than 280 publications, including 33 books and monographs, 85 book chapters, and more than 115 articles. He served on the governing boards of 4 national professional organizations and was involved in the accreditation or reaccreditation of 31 colleges and universities. He's also traveled internationally to Germany and South Africa as a Fulbright awardee and specialist. In addition, John has been a dedicated university colleague, serving on several committees, councils, and the faculty senate. What's more, he's also served his country for more than 20 years as a reserve officer in the Army Medical Service Corps, retiring in 1991 with the rank of major. John, you personify the Iowa State spirit, and we are so proud to make you an honorary alumnus. Congratulations. You're so well deserved. Thank you.
President Winterstein, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your generous introduction. I'm honored, truly honored to be selected to receive this award today. Iowa State has been a very special place for me, and I am so pleased to join the other honorary alumni of the university, including Mrs. Bergstrom, with whom I share the dais today. I've learned that Dr. Ann Gansmer-Toff and Dr. Larry Ebbers had their fingerprints all over my nomination for this recognition, and so to them and others who contributed to my selection, I am very grateful. The first person I met from ISU was Charles Frederickson, then Director of Residence, at the Association of College and University Housing Officers annual conference at the University of Kentucky in 1977. I had just been appointed to the association's governing board. Chuck was a former president of ACUHO-I, and he greeted me warmly, congratulated me on my assignment, and let me know that if he could help me in any way, to be sure to contact him. He was the most reassuring person I met at this conference of hundreds and hundreds of people. And I thought to myself that if people at ISU were as warm and generous as he was, this university must be quite a place. In 1988-89, a group of us secured sufficient funding to study the factors and conditions that make for high-quality out-of-class learning experiences for college students, and one of the universities that emerged in terms of a place to study was Iowa State University. So with some colleagues, I made my first trip to Ames in October 1988, with a follow-up trip in January of 1989. Once again, my reception by faculty and staff and administrators was warm and generous, and we learned that this was a large university that was made to feel small for undergraduates. In the spring of 1997, my phone rang and Larry Ebbers invited me to apply for a faculty position. We had several conversations, and so I finally decided to apply. Well, I came for an interview, really liked the faculty, students, and administrators with whom I interviewed, and when the offer came, I accepted quickly. I'm very grateful to the presidents with whom I've worked, Martin Jiske and Greg Joffrey, provosts, Roland Richmond, Ben Allen, Elizabeth Hoffman, and John Wickard, associate provost, Don Bratch Prince, and the deans with whom I worked as well, Camilla Benbow, Walt Gemelch, and Pam White. They provided me with opportunities to serve the university in a wide range of roles for 20 years. They, as well as the faculty, students, and staff with whom I interacted, made my association with this university so rewarding. I think I served as a major professor for about 75 graduate students here in Indiana University. Some of the students were lucky enough to receive more than one job offer when they were finishing their curriculum, and they would ask, where should I work? Where should I go? And as I would say to every one of them, I can't tell you where you should consider working. But I did refer them to Act 3 of the stage play Our Town, which ironically enough is playing at Fisher Theater right now. for a way of thinking about how to make a decision about where to work and where to live. One interpretation of Act 3 is that true value in our endeavors on earth has to do with how we spend our average days, the people with whom we interact, the values and purposes of the organizations with which we are affiliated. I learned a lot about ISU over my 20 years, and my conclusions were that this university is one which takes its responsibilities for teaching and learning, scholarship and inquiry and service very seriously, and is highly successful in these endeavors. ISU is also a high-powered research university that provides a panoply of excellent experiences for its students and works together exceptionally well with the surrounding community, the citizens of this state, the nation, and the world. But it's also a university where people collaborate well in a wide range of endeavors. They don't hesitate to share credit and are concerned about the growth and development of each other. My average days at Iowa State were splendid. That I could be a part of this institution was an extraordinary experience for me, and I will be forever grateful for being recognized in this way. Thank you very much.
Thank you, John. Our next honorees are the recipients of the Distinguished Alumni Award. This is the highest honor given to a graduate of Iowa State, and it recognizes their outstanding contributions to their profession or life's work. We have 3 individuals to recognize. The first recipient is Dr. Richard Carmichael. Dr. Carmichael earned his Doctor of Veterinary Medicine degree from Iowa State in 1955, and he is internationally recognized for his pioneering research, innovation, and entrepreneurship in the field of cattle embryo transfer. Richard, would you join me? Richard began his veterinary career as the owner of a private general practice. Today, he is renowned as the first person to clone cattle. Richard holds U.S. and Japanese patents for technology used to produce 2 identical calves from a single embryo. He was pivotal in establishing the embryo transfer industry and the International Embryo Transfer Society. Experts agree that his work has influenced all sectors, including zoo specialists attempting to save endangered species and doctors working with humans in vitro fertilization. Richard, your career accomplishments and impact are extraordinary. You make Iowa State very proud. Congratulations.
I am truly humbled to be with this astute group and to be honored with the most prestigious award of my university. I reflect on the veterinary quadrangle, the curriculum, the devoted professors, and the 1955 class of 56 students, and compare it with the current university and marvel at the changes. We were pioneers and did not realize it, and have since seen many changes in our profession. Our system has allowed for initiative and developments, and our university has been paramount in initiating and supporting these developments from within and outside its borders. I've been privileged to travel the world in regards to veterinary medicine and embryo transfer. I have taught international and domestic professional students at Maplehurst Genetics International in the small town of Kyoto, Iowa, as well as in many foreign countries in this then new science of genetic improvement of domestic animals. My fond memories are the time spent at ISU as a student and the opportunities offered me, the lifetime friendships developed with my classmates and my professors, and the development of work ethics necessary for survival. I remember Dr. Merchant calling roll in his bacteriology class. I remember Dr. Getty detailing us in the dissection of the horse. I remember Dr. Kingery bringing his knowledge of general practice to the classroom. I remember having Dr. Margaret Sloss, a 1938 DVM graduate, as my clinical lab pathology instructor. She was the first, and at this time, the only woman veterinarian in the state of Iowa and one of 27 in the USA. I remember the work necessary to earn money for food, housing, and tuition. I was pleased to be able to wait tables and wash dishes at the girls' dormitories. As I reflect, tuition was $36 per quarter. But $36 was very hard to come by in the 1950s. My, what a change, huh? Memories are fun for the old, but developments and the future are for the young. And that, I believe, is the mandate of our university, to provide the opportunity for development and leadership. So I would like to encourage the students and leaders of this university to continue to look forward to be the leaders for this great university, this great state, this great nation, and this wonderful world. May God bless you.
Thank you, Richard. Our next recipient is Barbara Jansen. Barbara earned her undergraduate degree in mathematics from Iowa State in 1965. She has since dedicated her career to making mathematics more accessible to students across the country. Barbara, would you please come forward? Barbara's visionary approach to publish programs that put math into the context of real-life situations was transformational for American education. Similarly, her philanthropic efforts have been transformational for Iowa State University. She established a mathematics professorship and played a key role in securing the largest ever cash gift to Iowa State University and the College of Liberal Arts and Sciences. Let's say that again, the largest ever cash gift. Barbara, thank you. This came through a majority interest in Curriculum Associates and the subsequent sale of the company. Truly an extraordinary accomplishment of the Iowa State University Foundation. Barbara is described as a super volunteer, giving her time and talent on several committees and councils, including the Foundation Board of Directors and both the LAS Dean's Advisory Council and the Department of Mathematics Advisory Council. Barbara, you are a trailblazer and you are an inspiration. Thank you and congratulations. And I would say she's also a very nice person.
Thank you, President Winterstein. And good afternoon, fellow Cyclones. I am very grateful to receive this award and also pleased by the implied recognition that it gives to the importance of both mathematical research and mathematics education, the two areas where I spent my publishing career. When Jeff Johnson called to notify me of this award, I was speechless. And my dear husband, Art, will tell you that's not really a common occurrence. We were asked to discuss in our remarks the impact of our ISU education on our lives and our careers. In my case, that impact has really been multifaceted. I would have to say, of course, that the primary impact came from the mathematics department itself here. I owe a particular debt of gratitude to Professor Edward Allen, who in the early 1960s encouraged me to major in mathematics. at a time when women were not always welcome in the sciences. He singled me out to be part of a small group of students that he and his wife invited into their home. Professor Allen helped me build the confidence that I needed to major in mathematics at Iowa State, and that later led to graduate work in mathematics elsewhere as well. Also, participating in the SPAN Overseas Study Program at Iowa State changed my life. It was really pivotal. During this time in England, this was in 1964, I got my first glimpse of the impact that educational policy can have on a society. At the time, there was significant controversy over a recently commissioned report on pedagogy and national examinations in English schools. Ironically, 2 decades later, it was the publication of A Nation at Risk, the scathing report on American education, that led to my founding of Janssen Publications. Throughout my career, I've believed in the importance of mathematical research as a driver of innovation, and also that mathematics education for all students is critical. While challenging the best and the brightest, we must also provide problem-solving skills and mathematical tools that are needed for American workers to compete in a global economy. Janssen titles focused on both groups. Some of our books were even translated for use in Russian and Israeli schools. Our authors, funded primarily by the National Science Foundation, relied heavily on data analysis and mathematical modeling to solve problems, with students often working in groups. These approaches have proven useful today, not only in the classroom, but also in many business environments. I was fortunate to have an ISU education, and these are really only some of the ways in which it had an impact on my life. I can't go on forever because it really is a wonderful, wonderful place. I also said that the activities outside of the classroom were useful and really helped me with the leadership skills and working with groups that helped me as an entrepreneur in starting the company. But now it's time to start looking back and to take a moment to say thank you to the university and to the Alumni Association for this award. And I also want to express my thanks to those at the College of Liberal Arts and Sciences who were involved in the nomination process. I am deeply touched to be recognized in this way by my fellow Cyclones. Thank you all.
Thank you, Barbara. Our final recipient of the afternoon is Suku Radia. Suku is a 1974 graduate of Iowa State University in Industrial Administration and Accounting. He recently retired as CEO of Bankers Trust, Iowa's largest independently owned bank. Suku, would you please come forward? A round of applause. Congratulations. Suku's story is nothing short of extraordinary. While he was a student here at Iowa State, his family was evicted from Uganda and lost everything, including their successful businesses. Not only was Suku never able to return home, but his plan to use his Iowa State degree to run the family businesses was destroyed. Despite his personal trials and tragedies, Suku built a remarkable career and always remembered to give back. Friends and colleagues will tell you he's never met a cause he could say no to. That's true. He has served on the boards of more than 37 nonprofit organizations. He's also active with the Ivy College of Businesses, Dean's Advisory Council, and the Foundation Governors. Suku, you have touched so many lives, and we are so grateful for your generous spirit and the love of community. Thank you and congratulations.
First, let me congratulate all the recipients. I represent the low point of the afternoon. Thank you, President Winterstein. I'm really honored to receive this prestigious award from Iowa State University's Alumni Association. I'm especially pleased because Dr. Winterstein is presenting this on behalf of the association. So again, thank you. Now, I was told explicitly to keep my remarks brief, so I did prepare 2 speeches. The short version was thank you, and the long version was twice as long, thank you very much. And then I remembered that the advice to be brief and be gone should sometimes be amended to be brief, but be grateful before you're gone. So even when you think you've prepared yourself for an honor like this, you really haven't. That's why I'm pausing to catch my breath. I have a friend who's a science teacher, and one of her students told her in no uncertain terms that breathing is extremely important. When you breathe, you inspire. When you do not breathe, you expire. So now that I'm breathing again, let me start by thanking Dean David Spalding for the nomination. Thank you, David. I'm deeply grateful. Now, you heard from Dr. Winterstein a little bit about my background. So when I came to Iowa State from Uganda, my goal was to get a good education, as she said, and to return home to a thriving family business. A year after I arrived in Ames, disaster struck. My family, along with the entire Indian community, was evicted by a tyrant by the name of Idi Amin. Now, they were lucky to escape alive from a country that had been ours for 4 generations. So overnight, I became a man with no country and almost no money. I was determined to get my degree, which I did in 8 quarters, and I graduated with a job in hand and exactly $4.87 to my name. So I'm a lucky man. I owe much of my good fortune to this absolutely incredible institution. My mother always thought I was smarter than I looked, but even she had no idea how clever I was to find myself stranded in the middle of Iowa, without $1 to my name or a country to call home. I know firsthand what it means to be an immigrant, and I will never be able to fully repay the people of Central Iowa for making me welcome and for encouraging me, though lost and broke, that I was a person of worth. At school and in every leadership position I've held, I've been expected to succeed, and I've been rewarded for doing so. It is true, though, that my failure to master American English in 40+ years has been a disappointment. I have had much civic rent to pay over the years, and today I can tell you unequivocally I'm still in the red. You can expect me to continue paying forward. Dr. Winterstein, I know that Iowa State will continue to thrive under your wonderful leadership, and I want to thank you in advance for enhancing the value of my degree. Thank you.
Suku, thank you. So now, will all of today's award recipients please stand and face the audience, and let's have another round of applause. We want to say again how proud we are of you and the many contributions you've made to our university, to the nation, and the world. It's been an extraordinary afternoon to hear your stories, to learn about your accomplishments. Thank you so much for sharing with us. And I want to thank the audience for spending the afternoon with us as well. What a great time together. Thank you so much in joining in the celebration of excellence at Iowa State University. And now we're going to have some treats. So if you'll join me in the lobby, we'll have some refreshments and an opportunity for continued conversation. Thank you again for coming.